to our origin of We the People. Tackling current issues, both political and legal, with common sense. As We the People, we must bring common sense back to make our lives better. Only on Now Media TV.
Welcome to We the People, where we bring common sense clarity to everyday challenges that impact our communities, our families, and our futures. I'm your hostess, Alina Gonzalez Dockery. So, we're going to kick off our show with a topic that many of us can relate to and are probably still dealing with: taxes and finances. Now, you may wonder, why are we discussing taxes and finances after April 15th? Because many small business owners and business owners, like myself, do file extensions, and there's so many questions. And just hearing the word taxes makes some people want to shut down, but we're here to break it all down in a way that actually makes sense. And that is because I am joined by Joseph Reyes, or Joe, a CPA with over 15 years leading J.L. Reyes Accounting and Tax CPAs just outside of Philadelphia. He's been in the numbers game since the late 70s, a financial professional who's passionate about empowering everyday people and business owners with the tools to better understand their taxes and build a confident relationship with their money. Joe, thank you so much for joining me on today's show.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Joe, obviously, you've been in the game. You understand tax codes, which to me could be it's not even a foreign language. It could be from another planet at this point. Why do taxes feel so overwhelming or bring fear into everyday people and small business owners' lives?
Yeah, good question. Actually, the tax code is designed to be that way. The tax code is trying to do a lot of different things at the same time. Actually, some of it is social engineering, some of it is leading the country in a particular direction and whatnot. So it is complex, and that's an understatement. So even tax professionals like myself, we just shake our heads at stuff that we see in the tax code and stuff that we have to deal with. So it's really complex. So it's gonna bring angst and fear to people.
Well, and that's why I'm always so grateful. And I will be the first person to say, I believe in going straight to the experts. And it is a godsend that we do have
Mhm.
CPAs as yourself with the experience to guide us in this. Um, and as I said in the intro, like many of us, like myself, we file extensions. So the taxes are still somewhat looming. So what a few simple strategies for our audience can do right now to feel more in control of their taxes, whether they're still dealing with the 2024 tax season or taxes, or looking forward 2025 and beyond?
Yeah, so when it comes to tax returns, just like finances, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? So if you think about taxes, about something you have to deal with throughout the year, you will avoid this year-end rush that drives everybody stark raving mad, And so what we recommend is, just a simple thing like, create just one folder for tax year 2025, for instance. Create a tax folder, and every time something comes your way that's even remotely related to taxes, just stick it in that folder. Maybe you made an improvement on your home, stick it in that folder because that might come in handy later on in the future, right? So little things like that. On your calendar, you have quarterly reminders. You just set up every 3 months, check in on how my tax folder is doing, maybe, or something like, did I make enough payments into the system every quarter? So this way, and if you can't figure out the right numbers, at least estimate, what's a good number to, maybe I need to pay $5,000 a quarter. So by the end of the year, you've paid $20,000. It depends on your tax structure and whether you have a business and how much money you make. So using a trusted advisor like a CPA, an enrolled agent, a tax lawyer, somebody who knows the game, giving you some kind of direction. Then every quarter, you're just taking a little bit of action And then by the end of the year, you'd be surprised at how much more in control you are of your tax situation, and you might avoid a huge tax payment.
So I love how you give a great suggestion, and my CPA will thank you because I actually wrote this down. Not doing that year end, like take 2 days as a business owner, going through all the receipts, making sure they're uploaded and stuff, and then dump everything sometime in January or maybe in April 1 to your CPA and expect miracles.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and it is scary. Not well, I want to rephrase that. It's not scary when you have the right expert that's on your side. And that is why we have Joe today to help just disrupt some of those misinformation that we may hear from people going, oh, if you don't have your taxes paid by April 15th, the IRS is going to audit you or come after you or take your bank accounts. I mean, obviously, this is why we have CPAs that are well educated and certified to do such things. As a business owner, let's just say, for example, as a business owner that comes to you and saying, okay, I want to really prepare myself. I'm having a great year. I'm starting out strong. What are some of the first steps when you're dealing with a client in their way of working with you and preparing so that they are in their best position to save on taxes, but also not be hit with a huge bill on April 15th?
yeah, so if you're a business owner, it's much more unpredictable than a W-2 wage earner, right? W-2 wage earner, if your salary, you know what it's going to look like for the year. A business owner should be tracking his or her finances on a monthly basis using a bookkeeping app like QuickBooks or something like that. Excel is okay, but Excel has its limitations for tracking information that would be affecting your tax return. In other words, a balance sheet. A balance sheet, Excel is lousy for balance sheets. It's great for P&Ls, profit and loss statements. So having a bookkeeping methodology where you're entering monthly income and expenses, you can download stuff directly from your bank account into QuickBooks, let's say, and then you categorize, or better yet, if you're not a bookkeeper, hire one because a bookkeeper knows certain rules and things about bookkeeping that you may not know. And something as simple as just tracking monthly books, knowing what your month looked like. Did you make an income? Did you make a loss? If you had income, then when you talk to your tax advisor, like how much should I put away every month into the bank so that I'm ready for tax return, tax prep, right? And then if you just do that simple thing, you're sucking around 25 to 35%, unfortunately, of your money that you made into a bank account. So when it comes time to pay the tax man, you've got the money. Um, Biggest mistake is not doing that and then getting a big tax bill at the end of the year. And then all hell breaks loose because you have a big bill. You may need an installment agreement. It's very, very frustrating. And you probably missed out on a lot of deductions. So it's just a marathon. Every month you do a little bit and you'd be surprised how much more in control you'll be of your tax bill.
Oh, and I think that is so important because it is the preparation or just kind of like being a student. If we have kids that are studying, whether it's high school, junior high, or college, we keep telling them if you keep on top of it, it won't be overwhelming. And that's pretty much, I like to tell clients that I deal with, like, you have homework and it's just going to be
Mm.
adding on to that. Um, and I love this because, and we're going to get into this a little more after the commercial break, but there's a lot of talk about tax breaks. And I know that we're looking at, unless this big, beautiful bill passes, um, that in 2026, potentially, I would say the vast majority of us are going to potentially have a tax increase because
Right.
of the tax breaks that were adopted, I want to say in 2017, 2018, and you could
Right.
correct me,
Yeah, you got it right.
are set to expire.
Right. That's
So,
exactly right.
and so looking at that, looking at, an individual who's watching, whether it's CNN, Fox News, whatever, or News Nation, you know, how do you counsel someone? And if they're like going, oh my God, what's going to happen to me next year if, for whatever reason, taxes do increase?
Yeah, so the first conversation I want to have is how did 2024 look? If you botched 2024, you're likely to botch 2025. And now we're talking about a year that's coming that may not even come, right? So
Mm-hmm.
why don't we do this? Why don't we review what happened in 24? Let's take action to fix 2025, and we'll set you on the straight and narrow path so that whatever you do now, the homework that you do now, will be the homework you're going to do in 2026. And every year is the same story. How much did you make? What's the tax bill? What are the available deductions and credits or whatever tax breaks? And work with a tax professional who knows what's going on. Because I guarantee you this, every tax year, regardless of which tax act is in place at that time, has its breaks, right? So right now, there are many good breaks in the Inflation Reduction Act that was passed by the Biden administration, right? Uh, uh, Donald Trump, he passed the tax bill in 2017. It came with many benefits and deductions. So it doesn't really matter. What matters is you, the homework you're doing. And I like what you said about homework, but doing the homework, keeping on top of it monthly, working with a tax professional, and you'll be fine. But you always have to save money for taxes. That's a given, right? The only question becomes, is it too much or too little?
And if it's too much that you pay quarterly, that just means that you don't owe anything on April the 15th. So
Get a
I'm
refund, right?
always a
So,
believer that I like to pay a little more than being
right. Yeah.
not blindsided, but having to pay the tax bill. And these are great insights so far. So, for the audience, I am joined by Joseph Reyes, JL Reyes, Accounting and Tax CPAs, and he has already provided us this amazing wealth of information. We are going to take a quick commercial break, and from there, we are going to now jump into what can we look at with this maybe big, beautiful bill or whatever the tax breaks could potentially be. Tune right back in on We the People.